Well, welcome back. It's another episode of Ink Transfer Drawing with Mark Zimmerman, brought to you by Sanford Arts. My name is Mark Zimmerman. I'm rolling ink on a sheet of plexiglass, very thin layer of very intense, stiff black ink. And then I'm going to drop a sheet of paper on top of that and draw and rub on the back of that paper, transferring ink to the front. When I'm done with that, I'll splash a little watercolor on it too. The first thing I want to know is where the ink is. It's not everywhere under there. It's inside this rectangle of tape, and I can find that corner and follow that tape. I can feel the edge of it with the pen. And so my drawing needs to happen inside there. So that's where the ink is. If I draw out here, it doesn't transfer any ink. Okay. So I'm going to kind of do a little abstract landscape here. I'm going to draw an abstraction of sage to start with. The way sage grows along a fence line. And I'm going to make that a dark area by hatching in some value. Hatch marks are just these short little straight lines. You'll notice that I don't get my hand out there in the image area. If I set any pressure out there where there's ink, transfers ink to the front. So if I lay my hand down, I transfer ink. I'm going to actually put a bridge out here that lets me keep my hand up and gets it out over the drawing too. Just transferring ink. Well, this is laborious. Sorry about that. What was I thinking? Done. So I'm going to put a post in here. Put a little shadow on that side of that post. Maybe I'll put a little thinner post out here. Again, a little shadow on this side. String some wire. And maybe some sheep wire, woven wire. What do the Hopi say, or the Navajo rug weavers say, you leave a little break in the pattern and that lets the evil spirits out. So we'll leave a little broken wire there in honor of the Navajo rug weavers. Okay, there's a lot of drawing down in the bottom part of this. Maybe we need a fair amount up in the top too. I'm going to just put a little nondescript ridge out in here. And put some shadows on that ridge. I can do that with my finger as well. Maybe I need a little distant ridge here too. And then maybe a line of mountains way out here. Which don't get the details the closer things do. Oh, let's drop a sun in there, and let's even get fussy about where it is. Let's move it in an inch and 7/8. These are magical numbers given the proportions of the rectangle. And let's move it down to, and let's move it down to 4 1/4. Okay. And then so you were wondering why there's a square in the sky. I haven't quite decided if it's my sun or my moon. But I do know that I grew up in a square house on a square block in a town made of squares, in a state made of squares that was a square. Well, or a rectangle anyway. I grew up in North Dakota. You've flown over the Dakotas, you look out the window and all you see is squares. So I don't really know how to deal with the landscape without dealing with squares. I'll just transfer a little ink up there with the heel of my hand. Let's take a peek, see where we're at here. Yeah, we're good. So I'm going to get rid of the ink, get rid of the plate with the ink on it, and splash a little color on the drawing. You'll notice that the drawing comes out backwards. And just in case I want to do a bit of a wash, let's drop this board underneath so I can tip that paper different directions and let the paint run. So I've got some watercolor. It's tube watercolor, but it's in liquid form, so it's pretty quick. Let's just drop some orange in there and let that orange fade a little bit up in here. Okay. I think I'm doing a sunset. So I'm tipping that board just a little bit so this color runs down the the paper the way I want it to run. Let's go back to that orange. Put a little light on the post. Kind of want to make a stroke this way, so I'm turning the paper. Sorry about back to sideways for you. So that's a little purple. I'm going to put a little more purple in here. Let's start with water. Water is kind of my white. I don't have water or white pigment. I've got water that just lets the paper show through. So the paint is transparent. Oops, I got purple bleeding into my sky. Who says there are no points for staying in the lines? Let's put a little indigo here. Kind of a beautiful, almost a black, grayish black, but with beautiful blue-violet undertones. That indigo is really beautiful. I'm going to pick up a little bit of paint. I'm going to take a dry brush and pick up some paint. There we go. A little too much there, maybe a little too much here too. Alright. Let's keep working light to dark. It's again, the water is white. And I think we're going light, little bit of indigo. A little bit of green. A little more green. A little more indigo. A little more green. That time near sunset where the land gets really dark. A little bit of blue. And then I'm going to take that blue and paint the sage blue too. And I'm sorry about sideways again, but it's a lot easier to reach the bottom of the paper if I don't have to reach across it. My studio is out in the barn. I don't know if you can hear them, but the horses are being pretty noisy in their stall next door. I think they're stomping flies. It's September. And we have 90-degree days coming. Sunday is supposed to be 95. Tuesday, or Monday night and Tuesday, it's supposed to snow. Welcome to the Black Hills, huh? I'm going to pick up some paint. So I'm using a dry brush to do that. Oh! Paint kind of wants to sit up on top of that. The ink is oil-based and the paint is watercolor. And water and oil and water don't mix all that well. So if I get too much paint, it gets kind of funny looking. Let's dry that brush really well. Let's come back in here and pick this up. Want those mountains to look misty. There we go. And we'll just call this Black Hill Sunset. Sign it, Zimmerman, and date it 2020. And there we are. That's Black Hill Sunset. It's kind of my warm-up for the day. Kind of had fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching. Bye for now.